Chapter 1. The Resurrection of a Legend. Renault 5 Electric. A car that defined generations, and it's back. There are very few cars in history that truly become icons. The Renault 5 was one of them. Born in the 1970s, it was the small, cheeky, and practical car that defined an entire generation of European drivers. It was affordable, efficient, and had a personality that made people fall in love with it. Now, decades later, Renault has brought it back, but with a futuristic twist. Say hello to the Renault 5 Electric, a fully electric rebirth of the classic hatchback. It's not just a nostalgic revival, it's a statement that Renault is ready to dominate the affordable electric car market. And guess what? It costs just $22,995, making it one of the most exciting EVs of the year. But is this just another cheap electric car? Or is Renault truly onto something revolutionary? Let's take a deep dive into its design, technology, and market-shaking potential to see if the Renault 5 is the future of budget-friendly EVs or just a desperate attempt at cashing in on nostalgia. The perfect blend of retro and future. Imagine walking past the Renault 5 Electric on the street. One glance, and you can immediately tell where it came from. The boxy shape, the signature front-end design, and the compact stance all scream classic Renault 5. But at the same time, it looks modern, futuristic, and unmistakably fresh. Renault has played a brilliant balancing act between honoring the past and embracing the future. The LED lights and aggressive yet playful styling make it one of the most visually striking EVs in the market today. While some brands are making boring, soulless electric cars, Renault decided to bring back character and charm. And it's not just about looks. Every design choice has a purpose. Aerodynamics have been fine-tuned, giving the car better efficiency and range while still maintaining its fun, almost rebellious personality. The Renault 5 Electric isn't just a car, it's a statement on wheels. Inside the Renault 5, small car, big surprises. Step inside and you immediately realize something. This is not a budget car, at least not in how it feels. Renault has made sure that the interior gives a premium, high-tech experience, even at an affordable price. Space that beats the competition. One of the biggest surprises? 326 liters of boot space. That's more than the Ford Fiesta, more than the Mini Electric, and even more than some compact SUVs. This isn't just a small city car. It's a practical daily driver. The seating position is comfortable, the dashboard is clean and modern, and Renault has used high-quality materials that make the cabin feel far more expensive than its price tag suggests. Tech that stands out in the budget EV world. Tech is where Renault really went all in. Dual 10-inch screens dominate the dashboard, offering a seamless digital experience. The infotainment system is Google-based, meaning you get Google Maps, Google Assistant, and all the smart features without needing a phone connection. But the star of the show? Renault, the built-in AI voice assistant. Imagine saying, "Hey Renault, what's the best coffee shop nearby?" and getting an answer instantly. It's like having a digital co-pilot at all times. In a world where even expensive EVs sometimes have laggy, outdated systems, Renault has made sure the Renault 5 Electric feels fresh, smart, and future-proof. Performance. Can an affordable EV still be fun? Now here's the big question. Does the Renault 5 Electric drive like a boring economy EV, or does it have some of that classic Renault hot hatch DNA? Let's start with the basics. The Renault 5 Electric comes in different power and battery configurations, giving buyers flexibility depending on their needs. The front-wheel drive setup means handling is predictable but engaging. Acceleration? It's zippy, not Tesla fast, but fast enough to put a smile on your face. And here's the surprise. Renault has tuned the suspension and steering in a way that makes it feel fun and responsive, more like a classic hot hatch than a dull economy car. But there's one thing to keep in mind. There's no dedicated park button on the drive selector. Instead, you have to rely on the car automatically engaging the electronic handbrake. It's a small quirk, but one that might take some getting used to. Why the Renault 5 Electric is a game changer. So, where does the Renault 5 Electric stand in the EV world? Let's break it down. Price: $22,995, one of the most affordable EVs on the market. Looks: a perfect blend of retro charm and modern design. Tech: dual screens, AI assistant, and Google-based infotainment. Space: surprisingly roomy, beating competitors in boot capacity. Fun factor: engaging drive with hot hatch DNA. Renault is not just making another EV, they're creating a cultural comeback. The Renault 5 Electric is fun, practical, and nostalgic, but more importantly, it's accessible. For years, electric cars were either boring eco-boxes or overpriced luxury toys. The Renault 5 is neither. It's a car for the people, just like the original. And this is just the beginning. In Chapter 2, we'll take a deep dive into real-world performance, battery range, how it compares to competitors, and whether this car is actually worth buying. Is the Renault 5 Electric the new king of affordable EVs? Or is it just a nostalgic gimmick? Find out in Chapter 2. Chapter 2: The Renault 5 Electric, a new era begins. The hum of the electric motor was almost imperceptible as the Renault 5 Electric cruised down the highway. It wasn't just another compact EV, it was a statement, a bold claim that an affordable electric future didn't have to be dull. That history and innovation could coexist in a single machine. The rebirth of a legend wasn't just about nostalgia, it was about setting new standards. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting golden light over the glossy paint, the real test began. This wasn't just about specs or features, it was about how the Renault 5 Electric felt, how it lived up to the hype. Could it truly be the game-changer Renault promised? Or was it just another attempt to cash in on the past? The accelerator responded instantly. Unlike the sluggish hesitation of some budget EVs, the Renault 5 Electric had purpose. It wasn't a performance car, but it had a liveliness that most small electric vehicles lacked. In city streets, it darted through gaps effortlessly. On open roads, it surged forward with a confidence that made even seasoned drivers smile. The key to this wasn't just the electric powertrain, it was the balance. The weight was evenly distributed, giving it a planted feel. The low center of gravity meant corners were met with stability, not the uneasy sway of a top-heavy compact. Every turn felt precise, controlled, almost playful. The car invited you to drive, not just commute. Range was always the elephant in the room for EVs, and Renault had tackled it head-on. With the 40 kilowatt-hours and 52 kilowatt-hours battery options, it wasn't just a city runabout, it could handle long commutes and even road trips with the larger battery. The advertised 249-mile range on the bigger battery wasn't just marketing fluff. It was achievable in real-world conditions, especially with regenerative braking working intelligently to recover energy. But numbers only told half the story. It was the way the Renault 5 Electric integrated into daily life that made it shine. Charging anxiety nearly eliminated. The 100 kilowatt fast charging meant a 30-minute stop could bring the battery back to 80%, making long-distance travel far less intimidating. For home charging, the 11 kilowatt AC system ensured it could be fully juiced overnight, ready for the next day. Then there was the technology. A car inspired by the past, but equipped for the future. The dual-screen infotainment system wasn't just there for show. It was functional, responsive, and, most importantly, intuitive. Renault had learned from the mistakes of overcomplicated EVs. No convoluted menus, no unnecessary distractions, just a smart, easy-to-use interface. The onboard AI assistant felt like a step ahead of competitors. It wasn't just a gimmick, it actively helped, adjusting settings, finding the nearest charging stations, even learning driving habits to optimize range. This wasn't just about making an EV, it was about making an EV that fit into people's lives seamlessly. Comfort wasn't sacrificed in the name of affordability. The seats, wrapped in sustainable materials, provided unexpected support, making longer drives a pleasure rather than a chore. The suspension soaked up bumps with remarkable smoothness, an area where many budget cars failed. There was no harshness, no excessive road noise, just the quiet, refined hum of an electric powertrain doing its job. Then there was the design. Some cars try too hard to look futuristic, alienating those who just want something familiar. Others play it too safe, blending into the sea of forgettable vehicles. The Renault 5 Electric struck the perfect balance. It honored its legacy while standing as a car of the future. The compact, boxy charm was intact, but modernized with sleek LED lighting and a bold front fascia. It turned heads, not out of confusion, but admiration. But a car isn't just about how it looks or drives, it's about how it makes you feel. And the Renault 5 Electric did something rare in the world of budget EVs. It made driving exciting again. It wasn't just a mode of transportation, it was a personality on wheels, an experience that made even short trips enjoyable. Competitors had reason to worry. The Mini Electric, despite its heritage, struggled with limited range and a higher price tag. The Fiat 500e, while stylish, lacked practicality. The Peugeot E208 came close, but couldn't match the Renault 5's affordability. In almost every category, price, range, practicality, and fun factor, the Renault 5 Electric had an edge. As the test drive wrapped up, the conclusion was clear. This wasn't just a successful revival of a classic, it was a car that defined a new standard for affordable EVs. Renault had pulled off something remarkable, a budget electric vehicle that didn't feel like a compromise. And as the city lights reflected off its glossy surface, one thing became undeniable. The Renault 5 Electric wasn't just a great EV, it was the beginning of something bigger.